This morning, we're talking about something impacting millions of Americans. That's student loan debt. With repayments resuming, new policy changes, and many people still confused about loan forgiveness options, we want you to know that there are some steps that you can take to make a big difference. This morning, I am sitting down with Dr. Sonia Lewis, also known as the student loan doctor, to break down the latest developments, who may qualify for forgiveness, and what borrowers need to know right now to avoid costly mistakes. We're going to get right into it with our first question here. I know there are some lender lawsuits that are happening right now. How can folks get a part of those lawsuits and join in if they are in that number?
Yes. So if there is someone that's watching that has an issue with their lender, what a lot of people don't know is that a lot of lenders are under a lot of scrutiny and getting in trouble because they have major servicing errors that can allow someone to file a formal complaint. And the way that you would do this is one of a few things. One would be the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which is known as the CFPB, or you would contact the Federal Student Aid Ombudsman Group. One of these two channels would be where you would file an actual complaint, and you would basically say, hey, I've had some issues with tracking qualifying payments, or hey, I've been trying to get my balances corrected, or I've gotten some bad advice or bad guidance, or they said they can't help me when it came to lowering my payment. I wasn't advised properly. With a change of administration, there has been less accountability on what lenders are and are not supposed to do, how they notify borrowers. So these changes are very real and prevalent. So the CFPB or the Ombudsman Group can help.
And that's some big information that folks should know. Now, when we talk about the SAVE plan, does it benefit you to be a part of the SAVE plan right now?
Well, so let's just correct that. There is no more SAVE plan. The SAVE plan is indefinitely gone as of a few weeks ago. And the challenge for that is that people do not realize that they have to come out of the SAVE plan, even if it still says it on your studentaid.gov account. And what was misleading before a final court order ruled that the SAVE plan is indefinitely gone, people received a letter just a few weeks before saying they had until 2027 or 2028 to make a payment. Throw those letters away. You have to get out of the SAVE plan, or you'll be moved out of the SAVE plan into the standard or the new repayment assistance plan called RAP.
Absolutely. And I know that you spoke about on social media forgiveness being a part of the IDR plan in previous years. There have been some changes with that. Talk about that as well.
Yeah, so the challenges are is if you are moved into the RAP plan unknowingly. I mean, we've actually started to see some lenders do this, so it's very kind of scary how they're doing this. Let's say you have you enroll into RAP or you've been enrolled into RAP, and then you later want to switch back to an IBR plan. The only plan approved by Congress, which is important to know here, is the income-based repayment plan. That doesn't change. So if you ever wanted to switch back to that plan, what would happen is that the payments you've made previously, all the years before in any other qualifying plan, would not go with you. So essentially, you could be starting from scratch in your 40s, your 50s, or your 60s with loan forgiveness towards repayment. A lot of people don't know this, but right now they're set up to have their loans forgiven in about 20 years of repayment. If they get switched out to RAP, then they want to switch back. The challenge is they will lose all of that history and be starting from scratch and not forgiven until 30 years from now.
Wow. So July 1st, a really big day right now.
July 1st, this is where all of the changes to this administration will be enacted through the One Big Beautiful Bill. A huge finalized document has just come out. I do encourage you all to continue to educate yourselves and read about it because you're going to find that program changes can be made administration to administration as it relates to interest rates, repayment plans, temporary removal of certain forgiveness programs. So the key right now is to be educated on everything happening as of July 1st so that it doesn't affect you later by way of your credit score, ability to buy a home, or your monthly payment.
And obviously, with the student loans, we know there are millions and millions of borrowers who are, confused. They have no idea what to expect. They see so many numbers, they see so many policy changes and different things of the sort. What can some folks do right now if they want to get their student loans forgiven? How can they get on the right process or get in the right step to make that happen?
Well, this is where expert guidance is critical because there is a lot of information being circulated, some true, some not. First thing first, let's have people go into studentaid.gov, log into your account. What does it say? And for some people, it is a bit overwhelming as to how to read the updates and changes that are made onto that account. This is why every Monday we do a class that's totally free, and we show people how to read through their online profile and explain to them the repayment plans and what changes are set to come. The best thing also to do to educate yourself is to log into your lender website. Two different websites, student.gov and your lender website, they communicate and say different things. A lender website is going to give you all of the up-to-date information and payment details that you have. Student.gov gives you the entire view of your federal student loan profile so that you can understand what you may or may not be eligible for. But again, we always are here to help as well.
And when we talk about qualifications for your student loans, how do we know who qualifies for forgiveness and who doesn't?
So again, the administration took away something called the IDR tracker. Congress said, put it back. So in a few weeks, we're going to see in your studentaid.gov account an IDR tracker return. This is going to let you know how many years you do or do not have before securing forgiveness at the 20-year mark. So that's number one. Number two, we have public service loan forgiveness. Anyone in a qualifying field, that could be healthcare, government, education, that is going to be its own entity of forgiveness through PSLF. Third, borrower's defense. We've seen about 500,000 people recently secure forgiveness through this program if they went to a school that was determined to be illegal in practice in terms of how they service their students or promises that they've made, they would be eligible for borrower's defense. And then another one that I would like to share with people is also total permanent disability. When you look at people, you don't see what they're going through. So if you have a chronic health issue or disease, something that's impacting you from being able to work, you could apply for total borrower's defense. And the challenge with that is that all they have to do is say, yes, this is impactful. This will affect you being able to make your student loan payment, and you could be forgiven in 3 years. So there are about 4 programs on the table that people could be able to take advantage of coming up, and they just need to be aware of these options.
And I know you've been, helping folks get their student loans forgiven, as well as helping folks with repayments. What is one of the or some of the biggest mistakes that people make that kind of knocks them out of being eligible for forgiveness?
So, good question. People that are staying stuck in the SAVE plan, ineligible. So, if there was going to be some help for you in terms of hitting that 20-year mark, you've got to be in a current income-based repayment plan. That's number one. The second thing is that people are getting not full knowledge of what they're eligible for in terms of public service loan forgiveness. So in 2022 through 23, hundreds and thousands of people applied, but they never received information. Well, that's because there was a shift from Mohilia to the Department of Education of processing this information. So what I'm basically telling people is reapply for PSLF if you believe you were eligible. The last thing that's really exciting to share with people is that if they've worked in a qualifying field of employment, education, government, nonprofit, or not-for-profit healthcare between October 2007, October 2022, they also would be eligible to get credit for the time they worked towards their loans being forgiven, even if they never made a payment. They just had to be in good standing and work at that job for 30 hours a week or more.
And you just spoke about the public service loan forgiveness. What jobs, I guess, kind of fall under that category, so folks who are watching may know?
Our teachers, our educators, our government officials, local, federal, state, those that work in a nonprofit, a not-for-profit healthcare setting. I'm trying to think if there's any more jobs that fall under the helping field. Anything that is attached to a 501c3. And if you're unsure, you go to studentaid.gov and put your employment information in, your EIN, it'll come up and verify. Those jobs are eligible for forgiveness.
And I want to ask a tax question as well. So, for folks who may get their student loans forgiven, will that forgiven amount be taxed? Do you know that?
Great question. Depending on the program, they may not be liable for being taxed at a federal or state level. So as of 2026, if they have been forgiven because of, let's say, IDR forgiveness, it's possible they may be taxed. The only caveat here that Congress is working through is because it has taken this administration so long to process forgiveness, people may not initially be taxed, and you would not be taxed for loan forgiveness through borrower stipends or PSLF.
And when it comes to repayments, what qualifies as a qualified payment versus not?
So they have to be in an income-based repayment plan. They have to have their loans in good standing, and they have to make the payment amount that was determined that they should make. I've heard people say, "Well, I'm in good standing, and I pay about 100 a month." Did your lender say you should pay 100 a month, or did you say that? Because then that's not a qualifying payment. And then people are surprised when they have their credit scores drop or go into default as a result of making a payment at the amount they wanted to pay.
And, me being on social media very heavily with my job, I saw a lot of people this year posting on social media that their income tax check had been taken away due to student loan payments. Is that something that you've seen over this income tax season?
Well, it's unfortunate. If you saw that recently, it's because the collection agencies were being slick and took the money in any case. Legally, they were not supposed to take the money until July 1st. So anyone watching this and that has happened to you this year, you may be eligible to get your return back because of what was in place with Congress. But as of July 1st, and then going forward into the coming tax year, yes, after you hit 270 days late in student loans, you're going to be put into a garnishment status, and your paychecks can be garnished at 15% per paycheck per pay period, and also your tax refund.
Wow. And do you know the steps that they need to take if they want to, see about getting their income tax check, I guess, given back to them after it was already taken? What steps do they need to take in order to get that to happen?
They want to contact the Department of Education to file a discrepancy. I'm not saying that it will come back, and I'm not saying it'll come back quickly, but I have seen cases in which people do actually get their refund back. Again, it's a different administration, so we'll see. But you would contact the Department of Education and file a formal grievance that their return had been taken and a time period in which it should not have been taken.
Wow, that's very good to know. And like I said, I've seen several people on social media upset, up in arms, all on TikTok. They're upset that their income tax check was taken due to those student loans. Now, when we talk about the income-driven repayments, what's the best one to be under right now?
Well, I don't know if there's a best one. I think one that is the safest is the income-based repayment, which can be a little bit more expensive than other plans, like the new RAP plan coming. But the RAP plan, just a reminder, has that additional 5 or 10 years of repayment attached to it. So it's like you might pay a little more upfront, but you're going to pay a lot more later. So we're not a favorite of that particular plan. And then the other plan is the pay plan, which is going to be around for a few more years, PAYE. And that's for anyone that consolidated their loans after October 2014. They may be eligible for that. The ICR plan is going away. So if someone has a Parent Plus loan, they must consolidate that loan before July 1st to turn it into a Parent Plus consolidated loan so that they can be eligible for more affordable plans too, or they're going to be out altogether with being able to select an income driven plan. So big changes are happening to Parent Plus loans as well as of July 1st.
And staying on the income repayment plan, what happens if one, you lose your job, or two, you get a pay increase from your job? How do you navigate through that?
But you don't need to talk about that pay increase right away. Let them catch that on the next application. I'm just gonna go reporting yourself. But if you experience a job loss or pay decrease, you immediately go to studentaid.gov and you go to under loan repayment and you select where it says income driven repayment application, and there's a button there that says to request a change or modify the application. You want to do that immediately, and they'll recalculate your payment. And you just indicate, the question is, do you have any current taxable income? And if you don't have any current taxable income, then you want to make sure you update that and make that noted on your application. They'll most likely give you a $0 payment. If you're under the RAP plan, they'll give you a $10 payment.
And as of right now, are there any like temporary waivers that can pause the repayments right now, or is it just you got to get in where you fit in right now?
Well, if you're not able to make a payment, let's say you're working, but it's really unaffordable for you, you want to communicate with your lender and request a general um, forbearance. That's the term. And hopefully you have some general forbearance months available. If something changed because of income, then you can request either economic deferment, like let's say you were laid off, or you can do the income driven application and update your income. So yes, there's some changes here happening.
And with all of the policy changes and the ins and outs, obviously someone who is not like your expertise and you pay attention to all of these red flags and all the things. Have you ever seen it to where the policies continue to change and folks get so confused throughout this whole student loan repayment process?
Yes, the policies are changing literally almost weekly. So if you're feeling overwhelmed or confused, definitely connect with us and follow us, because we just report out the details. Going into studentaid.gov, looking at the announcements from the White House. You can go to whitehouse.gov and get announcements there too. Um, and then also just being communicative with your lender and opening your emails, opening any letters that you receive. That's very anxiety provoking for people. So we're not seeing a lot of people necessarily trying to tackle this student loan debt and opening their correspondence, but you want to see what you're receiving. You want to be kept up to date with these details so that you're not trying to play catch up. And then also be careful. Don't let people fearmonger you. And then also watch out for any scams or any docu-prep companies that are saying that they're connected to the administration and helping the administration out. This administration is not asking for any help. And so don't fall victim to that.
And is there any type of documentation that folks should just keep on their person, in the event that they need to, look back at something or pull something up or show proof of this or that? Is there any type of documentation that folks should keep close to them?
I always think that once a month, you should do what I call a PDF print of your screen of your studentaid.gov details, because I've seen radical things happen where they've removed information that you no longer now have access to. The American people used to have access to something called the National Student Loan Database, NSLDS. And now only people that have access to that are colleges and universities and your loan lender. But that's important to know because there's not as much transparency around the 5 and 6 figure debt that you owe. So always take inventory of your lender information and your studentaid.gov information.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Dr. Lewis, you gave us so many jewels, so many gems. And I know this could be overwhelming for folks at home watching. You also offer a class each week. Tell us about that. How can people get involved, or how can they join and get a closer look at what everything they need to pay for and loans and all the things?
So if people go to freesldclass.com, that's where they can register for our free Monday class. It's about 90 minutes where I explain all of the new announcements, the repayment plans, forgiveness plans, and if they need our support with their loans, we can help as well. We really want people to be educated at this time. And so even on our social media page, our Instagram page, the Student Loan Doctor, all spelled out, we put up clips daily of giving just bite-sized information of what you need to know as it relates to your student loans. And then we just want people to go take action. In this season, this is not a time to just listen and say, oh, that's great. No, go to studentaid.gov and go do something. Get out of the save plan, get your payments in order, consolidate if needed, get out of default. Whatever it is you need to do, go do it before someone does it for you.
Absolutely, Dr. Lewis. Thank you so much for joining us and dropping these gems. I'm sure you are going to save somebody thousands of hundreds of dollars if they are able to take heed to what you are saying and maybe join in on your classes on Monday, because we all are, either in student loan debt or paying off those loans. So again, thank you so much for joining us. And if you would like a full link to this story, or this interview rather, we're going to place it on our website, WLTX.com.